I'm just about done buffing it out for the second time. Going back over. See if I got any dull spots. I don't know. I tried to order this paint in non-metallic, though this color isn't correct for the first part of 63. I'm not sure if it came out in the 64 or late 63. But I just don't like metallic. I don't know what the big deal is. I don't think it reflects the... Yeah, I don't think it reflects a very vivid reflection. As I say, can't really comb your hair in it. Okay, and I went, geez, there's one chip that I did. I guess you can't see too good. There it is. But I touched up just a little bit and wet sanded it very careful. Sometimes you make things worse by messing with it. And I don't think it's going to look much better. Well, she really does shine. But as I say, sometimes metallic I don't think gives as a defined reflection. But I'm just so pleased the way it turned out. I'm happy. I sanded and buffed out my chip in the back left quarter panel by the bad Gary Gilmore garden hose gun. So now we're washing up the floor. This is a good gun though. I'll get everything nice and clean. One thing good is they do have a good floor drain. Another wonderful tool, got from Farm and Fam many years before I was able to afford to get a luxury like this. And a nice cement floor. As I've stated before, the first phase of this restoration was steam cleaning the engine and the undercarriage of the vehicle. Was like no rust on this vehicle underneath. And as I stated, they look like they use a kind of a brown primer. It actually looked like it was brushed on a lot of the undercarriage of this vehicle. I'm sure the other Studebakers. And I did notice some light spray of a black primer or paint in some areas. So that was the first major hurdle. I had to wire cut brush the undercarriage, get out all sorts of screwdrivers and things and pick and clean, and that included like the coil springs, cleaning them real good. And then painting, that was a chore crawling underneath here without a lift. That was one major hurdle in the restoration. The next step was, as I stated before, underneath the fender wells, they had some kind of a undercoating. I used a heat gun. I think I used a little propane torch carefully and brushed away, and then wash it with gas to get it real clean before I primed them. That was quite a phase. And then, of course, painting under the wheel wells, door jambs. We've already gone through all of that. That was quite a bit, taping that off and redoing. And then also the engine bay area. So that was a little catch up on what took place. I didn't really care for the color combination that Studebaker used on the engine. I like to keep the car pretty much original, but make it your own taste. It's not going to hurt the value that much. Enjoy your life while you can drive it. So I love this gold color, which is over here. I just got this from the Napa Auto Parts. So not even heat resistant or anything. It'll be fine. That's great, nice stuff. I think it really made it look. I love it. Then I do use a couple of different types of clear. What's this called? This is use this on the vehicle. This is all-purpose Acme. I've gotten it from Napa again. That clear will cover. I used to have some spray type things that would bubble, but I don't know. It seems the clear seems to work pretty good on that. But there again, Acme. What is Acme? That's wasn't that like on the cartoons with the Roadrunner? I got to do a little research on that. Is Acme a generic name for if you don't want to put a name on your product? Acme rockets for the Roadrunner. Actually, no, Coyote had that. And what was the other thing? Carburetor, just good carburetor cleaner. And there again, find a kind of a good crappy brush. There's my good crappy brush. And toothbrushes are good for this kind of thing with the carburetor cleaner, which I don't have any here. Another great thing, I got this from discarded from the surgery at the hospital. They use it for cleaning instruments and in the OR. These come in pretty nice. I've used these cleaning things. That said, windshield wiper, I would have liked to remove that when I painted, but oh, it looked like a job. They got to get under the dash, take the screws out. Oh, it looked like. So I drew the line. Boy, it was tough taping that off, cleaning it up. Then some of the insulation I see is falling off these wires, though the wipers did work before they took it apart. There again, discarded socks, just the right size, nice and soft too. Just some gas, a little rag. And same with the heater motor. Instead of removing it, I did take the screws off. I'll clean them up. Can't see, there she is here. And I taped that off and painted it with nice black enamel. And because when they get the transmission out, I had to jack up the engine, and there's a block of wood holding it up right now to get the transmission to drop down and clear the back side of the engine. So now it's jacked up. I can see better in there. So yeah, I repainted some. I couldn't get in here before. My gold. Then I cleared it again with a real little small spray gun that I got from Harbor Freight. Cheap thing, works okay. Distributor, I'm sanding here and detailing a little bit more. Washing it up with a little gas. You can't see it way down here, but even the top where the oil, or whatever you want to call it, the filter, where the oil filter goes on. Can't see it way down there, but yeah, I'm going back at that. Cleaning that up a little nicer with my gas on the sock. So yeah, and nobody will ever see in there once all the shielding's in there and the engine's let back down. Right now the engine's jacked up. There again, carburetor. Nice to put the socks for stuffing in there. And I tell you, I enjoyed working on two fiberglass vehicles from 1963 as my Corvette and this Avanti. And I'll tell you, the Avanti actually a little behind the times on their engine, but that big iron horse was with the Paxton supercharged, broke all sorts of records. And I know it's got a little bit more chrome when this is all done. You'll see underneath the hood. And I think the car is a little better detailed than my Corvette. Though they couldn't fulfill the orders in time because of details of assembling the car and paint issues. So a lot of people just decided to buy a Corvette instead of the Avanti, which I do think is my preferred style over these. And I think these were actually, I'd have to, $200 or $300 cost $200 or $300 more than the '63 Vet. So shit, everybody would go for the Corvette. A couple more celebrities own this vehicle. Was Johnny Carson had one, and Richard Carpenter from the Carpenters had one. And let's not forget changing the diaper. Remember changing the baby's diaper? Can't lift my arm because my shoulder hurts. So that's for doing a detailed, I'll take an engine out and everything you've seen before. Now I can't wait. There again, these are really large plastic Ziploc bags at the hospital, discarded, but they get the clean curtains back for the hospital rooms are strong. So I have a friend of mine that they're like, hey, save those plastic bags. Tomorrow's big shoulder surgery day, and I say, now I'm excited because I finally got some clean clothes on. Wore grungy clothes for days till I got doing something cleaner. Next time you see me, I'll probably be in a sling. Hopefully I've lived through this. And I'm going to start, can't wait to start putting some of the accessories on. And right now my trunk deck lid I've got stored on the back seat here. Didn't have quite enough time to wet sand and buff that out nice. My hood's up on the 59 Hawk, Silver Hawk. I think we're going to do a repaint on the hood. But we'll deal with those at another time, probably in a couple weeks or few weeks, depending on my mobility. Well, I had the vehicle all ready for the wax and reassembly, nice clean environment. And just couldn't live with this surface. It looked pretty nice, but this side and also the other side, it's very flat. You lift up the hood, and then I want to really make it nice. So real nice reflection of that metallic. So geez, I had to cover everything back up. I'm hoping that's why it's good to save. There's an old Rain-X. Just sometimes you just need water. So I'm gonna try to get without getting a garden hose out and all that. I'm gonna wet this and use some 1000 grit. It seems to be the best. 1000 grit buffs out nice. Doesn't seem to show any scratches. And so 1000 grit's the best. So that's what I'm gonna do. Then I said this side and the other side, and then my chamois will work nice for just trying. Chamois are great. Well, I got a couple hours. I have to go to work because tomorrow I won't be able to use the power buffer. Hopefully I can clean that up. I'll make it a big mess. Very nice. Now I'm happy. Can almost see my crow's feet. I have to be kind of careful because the fasteners that hold the wiring harness, a couple of them I couldn't get out. I didn't. They were. I had to let them go and paint them with the car. There was a couple I could take off. I had to be careful not to catch that with the buffer because that could be ugly. And when you're buffing, if you're doing things like this around, you be careful you don't get wrapped up in that. Not bad. Good. Here's a favorite tool I've had for pretty much all my life, since I was 16, I think. It used to be a chairless high chair, and then the legs broke, and I cut them off. It's kind of annoying sometimes, but actually it digs in when I... about 15. We've only just begun to live. She's a fast machine. She keeps her motor clean. Yay! You remember the movie The Jerk with Steve Martin? Here's something I could always relate to in more ways than one. Whoa! Well, I am so excited. I survived my shoulder surgery, and I'm heavily medicated. And I have to thank my ex. We went out to dinner, and I'm heavily medicated. And they gave me some of this stuff for pain. Look, I'm trying to cut this darn bind out. Look at it. Oh, gee, I'm gonna do it. My son's in the other room. Maybe I need his assistance. Oh, there she goes. My finger's like numb. I'm so excited I lived through that. Didn't have some brain blood clot that finished me off in my elderly years. That was pretty good stuff here. So I'm very happy. So tomorrow we'll see what we feel like, but I can't wait to get back to that damn Studebaker and start putting some accessory parts on. So yes, I lived. And I got a little bit of a legal buzz on. I have one last sip of medication. Not condone too much alcohol abuse. We're going to go out in the shop and see if we can get something done today. I'm going to take a couple of bets. I'd like to take the Avanti out to this summer. I am going to wax the engine bay area before I start putting the horn and wire and harness on. Here's another absolutely fantastic product, Mothers. I love this stuff. But anyhow, so we're going to do a bit of wax the whole car good. Around the engine bay. Another issue I'm having is it's a spring thaw. Don't have gutters out there yet. So I got water coming underneath my, friggin' fancy pants new doors. One arm man. Okay, I was going to point out on here, the rubber is in bad shape. I just got a really sharp one-edged razor blade, and I trimmed that right off real nice before I painted it, so the paint will get in there farther. I'm not going to replace all of this here. This could have been could be close to being a decent show car. As I say, I'm going to drive it. It's going to get chips. It's going to happen. And my dad's 23 Franklin, we used to take it to shows as a kid. I used to crawl underneath there and wax the leaf springs. We used to tow it with our 38 Cadillac, the tow car, which was a $400 car when he bought it, the 38 Caddy. Anyhow, and there again, I watched a video where they'll knock off a point or two for the wing nut. Everything's got to be perfect. I wonder if my wing nut's correct. Is it solid or is it squeezed? Same with the gas cap. Now, I'll probably clean it up a little bit, but it's the original one. I can see the old sticker on there. I'm just about done waxing the engine bay area. Very pleased. I noticed a couple. I hit the sander. I see some scratches here on some of my stainless steel, which, yes, I'm a dope. Raymond Lowy, or in Europe they pronounce it Louis. A lot of credit for the design of this vehicle, but it was a lot of other people involved. I know every square inch of this vehicle. It's interesting how each fender well, there's quite a bit of different design difference in each side to accommodate the battery, and just a lot of thought goes into designing these vehicles. I can't believe that they got all that done in the short time amount they did to get this car out and produced. And there again, this mother's wax is the best, because you can, a lot of times I'll start even before it's really dry, it kind of helps. You can buff it a little bit as it's drying. So, wonderful product. When you work on these projects, you get to be a bit of a autoologist, trying to figure out its past. Starter solenoid does look like it's been replaced. It looks pretty good. I'd put a new one on, except it does look like they changed it. And I see the wires. These aren't factory here. They're pretty heavy wire. So I followed them back. They go into a harness, and I could see that it had been retaped over the original tape. And up in here, I followed, got underneath the dash, and yes, they run right to the starter switch, ignition switch. So we're going to keep those. I'm just going to retape and make it a little neater. They did do pretty good connectors on here. This one's a little longer, which I don't like. I took it up. I drove this car for a while, and I took the harness off. Some of the connections were about ready to break. Where are we? I think this one here. I taped it on there quick. Yeah, that was for the master cylinder. Oh yeah, then the voltage regulator. We will replace that. I was going to paint the cover, but it does look like it's an original one, which is cool. I'll save it, but we are going to get a new one. Look at one wire finally broke off here. Up there, so another connector there. First, I'm washing it up with a gassy sock again. Oh, I can't reach up here. And then I'm gonna another cleaner gassy sock. Really make sure it's clean. I always enjoy when I get a vehicle from somewhere and go right through it. My dad had a garage, a Briggs garage, and he had a junkyard, probably 50, 100 cars, nothing big. Every time I bring a car, and it'd be fun to go through the car and look for change. And when we got older, cigarette butts. But you could tell by going through a car, the previous owners, by French fries in the seats, and I could talk quite a bit about a vehicle. Oh, is there another thing here? See someone here, one's for the headlight, one's for signals. I'm going to try to clean them up. So they did solder it here, the connected three. And it's pretty good. So I'm going to just clean it real good to tape that. And that junkyard was our playground. My brother and sister, myself, we just picked a car, pretend we were racing. I was raised in a grease pit. We had a grease pit in our garage. This side looks pretty good. Just gonna give it a good cleaning with the gassy sock again. I like it. This one looks like nobody's altered or cut or chopped everything out. More memories of the junkyard. Let's see. We used to jump from top to top, which pissed the old man off. My sister slipped and somehow fell off, caught her, look at a jagged part of the car. Yeah. It had stitches and whatnot. I'm sure she still got the scar. And my dad dealt in a lot of antique car parts, a lot of Rios. For a while we had a Rio, I think a 22 Rio Doodlebug. That was a cool, fun round until he sold it finally. My brother had a 49 Chevy station wagon, and we lived right next to the Hemlock Fairgrounds. Somebody's put these ties on here, which we know aren't from '63, but and actually they are pretty good to use. I'm going to clip them all off so I can clean things better. Yeah, I do a little research. I see what they did use instead of these. I don't think they had used those in '63. And for the purist restorers out there, lots of times, mostly the original electrical tape. When they get to the end, they wrap it around, then they like tie it. If you know what I mean by that, from the factory. So that's definitely factory. And on the other side, I'll go back over here. I see where they use this. I can't think of the name years ago. It's like electrical tape, but it's kind of a cloth. And there was a name for that type of tape. I think they use it mostly in plumbing. See, there was a lot of that on this vehicle. I think now we're ready to get the other detail. When I did jack up the back of the engine to get the transmission out, I didn't know if I had a broken motor mount anyhow. So I'm going to have to order. I'm going to order 2 more of those, and I can get at them before I start putting things back in the engine. Started cutting some of these off, and I got thinking, gee, I think they didn't really use those in '63, did they? So I stopped cutting them off. You know, it's pretty nice out. I think today I might take a hike down in the woods and the parts Avanti car. I'll take a look at the harness on that and see if it tells any stories. Oh yeah, and I see like there's like a real fine wire that held the washer hose on here, and also on here. And I get it. I'm really into history and how they. So if some guys are real particular about making it exactly like it was when it was new, I get it. I respect that. So we're going to take a hike to the woods today. I'm glad I evaluated all this. I have a 37 LaSalle coupe storage down in the trailer in the woods, and let's see, 40 years ago, when I was like 25, yeah, I even did the body in lead. I wasn't going to use any fiberglass. Well, it takes a lot of time and perfection to do something like that. But now I'm at the age where I'm running out of time in life, and with what money I have left, I'm trying to put into other ongoing cool projects that I hope we will be seeing here in the future. So yeah, if you're a real artist, it really hurts me not to really do some things really perfect the way I like it, but there's just not enough time.